Checking out the O-School miter saw fence system, and I'll show you how to build custom extension wings for your saw. You'll need 4 pieces of plywood sized to suit. I made mine about 11.5 inches wide, and considering each fence section is 17 inches long, you'll want to have the length a multiple of that. And since I'm using 2 sections on each side of the saw, mine were all 34 inches long. Then cut dados with your best method. I typically like to use a dado blade at the table saw, and these slots will just receive riser blocks to give this the correct height for your miter saw. An optional step is to cut dados for T-tracks in the lower shelf, and that'll just let you use track clamps to secure everything to your bench. Now, once all the basic components are cut for this project, you'll want to install those short lengths of T-track. That way you'll still have good access to drive the screws before the top layer goes on. Luckily, the aluminum T-track cuts with normal carbide woodworking tools. Now, these dados have been sized very specifically, 3 of them to match the thickness of the plywood, nice snug fit there, and the other 2 just to match the size of the T-track. Okay, that's looking pretty nice. At this point, you can trim off the corners or make any other custom modifications you want for your particular application. And then we'll just glue the parts together and get everything in clamps and set that aside to dry. Now let's take a closer look at that fence system and talk about a couple different ways that you can lay this out, just depending on your needs at the miter station. So this kit comes with 4 17-inch sections as well as 3 connector rails, and these have a dovetail profile, so they do a really nice job of locking everything very solidly together. And basically you can configure these however you like. Most common options are 3 sections on the left side of your saw and 1 section on the right, or you can choose to set it up like I'm going to and have 2 sections on either side. And the assembly here is pretty simple. Just slide the parts together. And there's actually access holes on the front that'll let you snug everything up. Just tighten up the 2 fasteners on either side and then repeat that process for the other sections. Once the sections are joined, they act like one rigid beam, and you can make use of that handy flip stop anywhere along its length. And it's just a matter of positioning that fence assembly right where you want it and clamping that down so we can install the screws. I like to just position the flip stop 24 inches from the blade. Make sure my tape measure is going to read correctly, and go ahead and trim that as needed and affix it to the top of the fence. The tape is self-adhesive, so just lay that in the little channel on the top of the fence, and you'll have a nice way to accurately and repeatedly make those cuts. And then simply trim it to length at the other end. There's a little bit of fine tuning available, just sliding the cursor side to side and then tightening up the little set screw on top. So look at that, no more tape measure and pencil. This is just a much better way. Now the fence system comes with 1 flip stop, but here I've added a second one, and the parts are actually reversible so you can make it read from either side of your saw. Just slide your workpiece down to the flip stop and make your cut. So if you're tired of using a tape measure and pencil at the miter saw, this O-School fence system is the perfect solution. Plus, with these auxiliary tables, it offers excellent workpiece support.